So this will be part 2 of our series on Sanchin Kata. You can view part 1 on the channel. It's up there for members also. For the members, it's commercial free. This one will be a little bit shorter. It'll explore a few different concepts that I really didn't get into too much in the first one, which will be a lot of about contraction and expansion and working Sanchin in a little bit different way. It's important to realize that the practice of kata, whether it be Sanchin or any other kata, all right, is about training the body, okay? And there's things we do that we want to get the most benefit out of training our body, so that training of the body helps prepare us for that time when we need it in a life and death situation, okay? So looking at Sanchin, yeah, there's a handful of fighting techniques in it, but I think Sanchin is about training your body for a different type of result, okay? Which I got into some in the first video, and I want to expand on the 2 primary principles we're going to cover today, which is contraction and expansion. All right. So Sanchin Kata, okay. And again, I'm specifically going to be doing the Isshin-Ryu Sanchin, and in another part of this series, I will also demonstrate the Taijiquan Sanchin and show how you can practice our Sanchin in a similar manner. All right. So again, we already went over many of the things with Sanchin, so I'll just come out into my stance. All right. So in terms of contraction, so now as we bring the arms in and we're going to come here and we're doing our inhale, we can imagine that there's a line down the center of the body. And in the line down the center of the body, what we're going to do is we're going to fold in. So our shoulders are going to come in like this, okay? So this center pushes in and the shoulders come in. So we're going to contract. We contract the body this way. Now, as we come out, we're going to expand the chest and the body this way, okay? So we contract, inhale, exhale, and expand, okay? Now we come here, we're going to contract. So again, this is going to come in, this is going to be nice and tight, and we're going to contract, okay? Then as we exhale and we go out, we're going to exhale and expand. So try to expand. So I'm not doing this. This stays here, but I try to elongate the arm and expand it as much as possible, okay? In Taiji, we call this the stretch, okay? Then from here, we're again going to do this rotation where we pull in and we contract a little bit. Again, squeezing the anus, okay, and working on all those other concepts we talked about in the first video. So this idea of contraction, expansion can cover a lot of different aspects, okay? So I've been lucky enough to have trained in a lot of different martial arts with some outstanding instructors, all right? And they've brought concepts into my playbook that I never thought. Now, one of the things you want to realize is everything I'm talking about here is a physical ability, all right? So forget the mystical mumbo jumbo, okay? You know, if you want to go down that road, go right ahead, but that path to me leads to some problems, okay? Everything I do is based in reality, all right? It's a physical thing, all right? So when we contract, this comes in, sinks in, now expand out, right? Now we contract, now we come out, expand out, right? Now we contract, right? And then expand out. And we can do the whole kata like that. So even when we're doing this here, we're pulling in and we're here, we're contracting. And when we contract, we want this effect on the body. So we pull in everything here, compresses. This compression is one of the things that helps you develop the iron shirt ability so your body can withstand blows. I'm not advocating that you punch each other, but I mean, I've done plenty of demonstrations, and people that have trained with me long enough know that I'll show and let someone punch me in the stomach, okay? And if you do it properly, it has no effect, okay? So it is part of the Sanchin training to develop part of this iron shirt ability. So when we do this, when we come here and we're pulling in, right, we want to compress, all right? So we pull in, we compress the body, right? We continue. Now, again, so we've contracted. Now, as we go out, we're going to expand. So we expand and then turn. And then again, this rotation. So we expand out as far as we can. Expand and really stretch. Really stretch to the point where it feels uncomfortable, then turn. So again, working the whole kata in a different way, where you're focusing on the stretch or the expansion or the contraction, right? And the expansion, okay? So again, a different approach to practicing Sanchin, all right? I don't just practice Sanchin one way. I practice Sanchin several ways, okay? I just think I get more out of the practice. I think we're limiting ourselves when we only practice it the one way, all right? So this way, again, the contraction, expansion. So let's talk about, we'll do it from this position because it's the closest to when we see people practicing like this in Qigong, right? So when we come out and we come here, or if you want to grab, you do this, that's fine, okay? So another thing you can work on is when you stop in each position in Sanchin, when we talk about expansion, is literally trying to physically expand the body like this, where you push out and you try to expand the whole body. So meaning when I'm here, it's not that I'm just here, but I'm literally trying to expand and push out and expand my body, open up everything, get everything to expand. And if you try this and you try it from the feet up, the legs, everything, right? You try to physically expand it, you won't believe how uncomfortable it feels, okay? So I was first introduced to this concept by Master Chen, okay? He had us doing standing Qigong, all right? So instead of just standing here like this, he had us work on expanding our bodies and literally trying to expand it this way, expand it this way. Again, nothing mystical, okay? Stop, okay? This is high-level body control. Can you get your body to expand? So I often have one of my students, I'll have them hold my forearm when I'm explaining this concept. And I expand the arm, where the arm literally seems to be doing this. It seems to be expanding all the way around, right? And the look on the student's face is always one of surprise. And I often get asked, well, how are you doing that? It's the same thing when I talk about pulling down and extending the spine downward. Well, how are you doing that? It's effort. I put in the effort. I work on it, I try to get that connection between my mind and my body where I can do these things. Again, in Qigong and other training, all right, this is something, again, can you expand that body, all right? So you can practice your Sanchin Kata where you're actually working that concept. So for instance, I can come out in my Sanchin, right? And I get to here, right? And now what I do for a second is that when I get to here, I try to expand everything. And it feels very uncomfortable. Now I relax. Now I come out. Now from here, I can try to expand everything. Now I come here, right? And now I try to expand again. Later in the kata, when I get to here, I can pull in, work in that compression, right? That contraction. Now I can expand here. And then when I turn, now I wait. And now I try to expand everything. I mean, I'm trying to get my fingers to expand out. Okay. I'm trying to do all that. All right. So I'm trying to get my neck to expand. And again, it's just a high level body control. Okay. I'm not quite sure what it's doing for my body, but I know after I do it, my body almost feels like supercharged. Okay. Supercharged. All right. So this is a very difficult thing. All right. You know, again, the way you can try to see if you're accomplishing it is you could have a student lightly hold you here, right? Thumb underneath, fingers on top, and you just try to expand. And you hopefully your student's honest with you. Hopefully he's honest with you and says, nope, I'm not feeling, oh, wait, I am feeling it, all right? And again, this is not something that's an instantaneous ability. I'm sure some of you out there, if you have very high level body control, you might be able to do some of this right away, okay? But again, we're trying to do it where the whole body's expanding at the same time, okay? And it's tremendously difficult because now you're trying to get the brain to get the whole body to accomplish a task at the same time, okay? And again, when we're here and doing these actions, again, as I come in, this can come in, right? And then from here, now we expand, right? At the end, right here, now, right? We can stay here and now we can try to expand the whole body. And you can even hear the timbre in my voice changes a little bit because of the strain that I put there. But again, it's not a tension, it's an expansion. It's an expansion, all right? Try to get the body almost like to swell up, okay, all over. And you're just expanding and stretching the muscles, all right, which I think is very beneficial, all right? So that's one aspect. So I also wanted to talk about today a way that Sensei Harold talked about that he sometimes trained in Sanchin, which again, I thought was kind of fascinating. It's something I do on occasion also, all right? Where he talked about the concept of rubbing. All right. So for instance, we come out in Sanchin and now what we do is we rub the arms. We rub the arms. So we come out, we rub the arms, right? Now we come here, we make sure this rubs against the body, right? Okay. We come out, right? It rubs against the body, right? Right. We come here, right? We step out, right? We do the whole kata like this with this concept of rubbing, right? With this concept, right? This concept where we're rubbing the arms, where we're rubbing the arms. And you'll just feel it creates a different feeling in the body, all right? Almost like, I think I remember Sensei Harold saying something like a static charge you're building up in the body, all right? So again, this is another aspect of Sanchin you can explore where again, you come out, you rub, right? You're rubbing here against the side here, right? You know, we come out, we come out again for the next one, right? Same thing, we rub, right? Now we rub, right? We finish, right? We get here, we finish. Now the next thing, you know, we're here, right? Rub, right? Rub as you come out, right? Here, rub, right? Now we go to the next one, right? This rubs now. Now it rubs, the arms rub and stay in tight to the body here. The arms rub and stay in tight to the body, all right? So again, when I do it like that, it just creates a different feeling in my body, okay? So again, you can try to combine all these different concepts and plug them all into your Sanchin at the same time, all right? Again, I do these videos for you to find something hopefully you like, all right? And something that, you know, maybe you haven't heard before, okay? Remember, in the previous video I mentioned, for a long time I was trying to understand the importance of Sanchin. And finally, through my study of Chinese martial arts, and then studying with people like Tayani Sensei, Kichiro Shimabuku Sensei, who also had a different approach to what I'd seen in Sanchin, and you know, also Sherman Harold, okay? And then obviously my Chinese masters, Chen Zhanghua, Shifu, Lu Changyi, and also even Minoru Hoshino, who I initially studied Qigong with in Japan, all right? I realized that some of the concepts I was seeing in these Chinese arts, I think were missing in the Sanchin Kata. I mean, again, you want to ask yourself, why does Sanchin look so different from all the other karate kata? Now, again, if you're doing the fighting Sanchin, like we have in Feeding Crane, right, where you see one more like that in Wichiru, okay, well, okay, but this slow version of Sanchin that we see, all right, where it's about breathing and how to use the body at a high level, it looks dramatically different from any other karate kata that we're training. I mean, none of the other Isshin-Ryu Kata look like Sanchin, all right? So I think it's important that we take that deep dive, okay, and that we go into it. So try to add the concept of contraction and expansion in your Sanchin, and think about that ability to expand the whole body, and try to bring that aspect into your Sanchin training. And I think you'll realize it's quite interesting, and it is doing something that I think is very good for the body. All right. Hope you've enjoyed this one, a little bit shorter than the last one. We'll do at least one more in this series where we'll explore another different approach to training Sanchin. And hopefully you'll like that one. And in that one, I'll also talk about Taijiquan Sanchin. So to give you an idea of the difference, how different two Sanchins can be. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.